All right, so now we're getting into Chapter 4. This is Section 1, an introduction to congruent figures. So a lot of what we're trying to do in this particular section is to make sure that we are able to identify and label congruent figures properly. So looking at the first problems, these here are definitions, and they should have been completed before you actually watch this video. Now the rest of it states, when referring to congruent triangles, we name the corresponding vertices in the same order. This actually should be polygons. It's true of any polygon that we are doing. So in this one, we're going to go a lot by visuals. In general, I've taught you not to take diagrams too literally, and you still want to hold to that. But in this particular one, we're going to go kind of by what we see because they don't give us any additional information. So you're supposed to have tried marking up these diagrams and naming the triangles and polygons. If you haven't done that already, we're going to go ahead and do it now. So first, you just pick an angle. You can pick any angle, really. Okay, and I'm going to start with angle S here. Okay. Now, angle S, okay, and in reality, since they don't give us any other information, you could really choose this to be anything, but angle S looks pretty similar to angle A here, and it's actually, this triangle is kind of rotated. So another strategy that we'll explore later is actually drawing these and making them oriented the same way. But we can see these angles are pretty similar, and I'm going to go ahead and label those as congruent. Now I see this is kind of the acute or smallest angle, and I'm going to go ahead and label this one as being congruent to this one here. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and for the last one, I'm going to label that U is congruent to the other angle R right here. Again, using the arcs here to label them out. Right? Now that we have them labeled, one of the hints or a strategy that you're going to want to use, oh, I'm sorry, that's the next section. In this particular one, all we're really doing is trying to label these properly. And in the next problem, I'll go over strategy so that we can see what that does with the segments as well, because they share a relationship also. So in this particular case, I'm just going to go through them, and I see here that S lines up with A. Okay, so if I'm going to say that I have one triangle that's congruent to the other, I'm going to start with my red angles here. Now it doesn't matter which one you start with, but S lines up with A, so I'm going to start with, if I start with S for this triangle, I'm going to start with A for this triangle since they are corresponding vertices. And then I can go ahead and let's just go to the angle that is labeled with two curves or two arcs. So in corresponds with Y. And if I wanted to stick with the colors here, we would say S and A, and then for the second one we have in corresponding with Y. Okay. And for the last one we used black, and we have U corresponding with R. Now if you notice, I did keep all my triangles. I have S in U, S in U. Those are all in the same triangle, and here I started with A, Y, R. And if you notice, they should correspond in congruency. Now I'm going to leave this second one to you, but you're going to do the same thing. I can go ahead and label the first couple just to get you started. Okay. One of the big ones is that you can kind of see these are angles that are going to be shared. So if I make this one congruent to this one, okay, that'd probably be a good idea. Now we could also make this one here congruent to this one here. And then you go around and you do the same thing. And we'll go over this one in class. Okay, remind me when you go over it.